All right, welcome to The Outsiders, Chapter 7 and 8 analysis. As you could see, these past two chapters took place mostly at the hospital where Dally and Johnny are being treated for their injuries. Other parts of this chapter took place at the Curtis house where the other greasers are trying to help Ponyboy get settled back in. There's also a very important scene that took place at the dine-in restaurant where Randy and Pony finally saw each other as individuals and not just members of a rival gang and different social classes. In these chapters, the reader can see the impact that the past few days have had on Ponyboy. In these chapters, Pony is really struggling with all sorts of different emotions and is trying desperately for things to go back to normal. What I would like you to do now is find different direct quotes or passages that reveal some of the following feelings or things that Pony is experiencing. Find passages that reveal that Ponyboy is trying to hide his feelings from the other greasers. Find passages that reveal how Ponyboy is trying to be tough. Find passages that reveal that Ponyboy is in denial about Johnny's health situation. Find passages that reveal that Ponyboy really does know the truth about the severity of Johnny's health situation, despite trying to convince himself differently. Find passages that reveal how Ponyboy is worried about his family situation. Lastly, find a passage or the passages that confirm that Ponyboy really does see the Socias as people. The reader gets to know Derry a bit better in these chapters. We learn that Derry isn't just a father figure to Soda Pop and Ponyboy, but rather to all the greasers. Find evidence to support this. You may want to add this direct quote to your characterization chart. In these chapters, we also see a similarity between Derry and Ponyboy. Find the passage that reveals that Derry isn't a typical greaser and that he actually chooses to remain a greaser. In Chapter 7, the reader finally learns a little bit more about Bob. Read the passage on the screen and then update your character chart about what character traits we learn about Bob in this chapter. At the end of Chapter 7, there's a powerful scene that takes place between Randy, a social, and Ponyboy at the Tasty Freeze dine-in restaurant. Randy asks Ponyboy why he helped the kids in the burning church. He says he was surprised that a greaser would do something like that. Pony responds that his actions had nothing to do with being a greaser. Ponyboy insists on the heroic capacity of every single person, whether it be a soc, a greaser, or otherwise. He suggests that Randy or any other individual would have done the same thing as him, but Randy's not so sure. Randy then goes on to tell Ponyboy that he is tired of the gang violence and devastated by Bob's death, and says that he won't fight in the Rumble because the Rumble won't solve anything anyways. Look at the screen. In many ways, Andy was right. The Rumble, or violence in general, won't end this rivalry. But look at Ponyboy's statement. What does the statement reveal about the impact of the past week's events on Ponyboy and his understanding of this intense rivalry? During their discussion, Randy confides in Ponyboy about Bob and how much he misses his friend. Randy also tells Ponyboy about Bob's troubled past and describes Bob as a great friend with a bad temper. Ponyboy empathizes with Randy, who has lost his best friend, as well as Bob, who Randy portrays as a spoiled kid with a difficult past. At the end of the discussion, these two rivals begin to see each other as individuals rather than representatives of the rival gang. The connection established in this conversation transforms both boys' understanding of the opposite group. At the end, it's really important that Ponyboy tell Randy his name. And it was really important for Randy to call him Kid instead of Greaser. Look at these quotes. Why is it significant that Randy called Ponyboy Kid instead of Greaser? And why did Ponyboy insist on introducing himself? Can you make a connection to any other text we've read this year? Why is this significant? Notice Ponyboy's reaction to Two-Bit at the bottom of the page. Notice the change in Ponyboy. Two-Bit asks, "What did Mr. Super Soch have to say?" And Ponyboy replies, "He ain't a Soch. He's just a guy, and he just wanted to talk." This is very powerful. This is a very powerful moment in the story when these two rivals come to see one another as people. In chapter 8, it's quite apparent that Johnny is not going to overcome his injuries. Ponyboy knows this reality and yet still tries to convince himself and Johnny that things will work out. Look at the passage on the screen. Who is Ponyboy trying to convince with this statement? Himself or Johnny? This desperate statement reminds you of which protagonist in previous texts we studied this year. Like they so often do, Johnny and Ponyboy had a heart-to-heart discussion in the hospital near the end of chapter 8. The reader sees Johnny facing his death and starting to regret choices that he made in the past and is upset about the opportunities he's going to miss out in life. It's very similar to Andy's reaction when he realized his fate in the story On the Sidewalk Bleeding. Look at the quote on the screen. Johnny says, "I ain't done yet, and so many things I ain't seen. It's not fair." What does Johnny's reaction teach the reader about growing up and the growing up experience for some teenagers? It's interesting because as Johnny's struggling with this harsh reality, Dally is down the hall and is upset about the fact that he's going to miss the rumble. Johnny, with his childlike innocence, had hopes in his life, whereas Dally, hardened by life experiences, thinks only about fighting the Soches and protecting his dear friend, or rather brother, Johnny. That's it for the chapter 7 and 8 analysis. Like always, I hope that you're enjoying this novel. Please leave a reply on the Edmodo site. The question this time is, what did you think of Johnny's refusal to see his mother at the hospital?